accidentally found my birth mother on social media. She's my fiancé's favorite celebrity chef. The cookbook he gifted me last Christmas, the one we cook from every weekend, was written by the woman who gave me up 28 years ago. Now I have to decide whether to tell him before our wedding next month or keep the secret that's making me question everything. I've always known I was adopted. My parents, my real parents, the ones who raised me, were always open about it. They told me my birth mother was young, just 19, and wanted me to have opportunities she couldn't provide. They had a single letter she'd written explaining she was pursuing her dream of becoming a chef and couldn't raise a child alone. No father was listed on my birth certificate growing up. I never felt a burning desire to find her. My family was complete. But last week, while scrolling through Instagram, I froze at a familiar face. It was Elise Montgomery posting a video making the exact lemon tart recipe I'd made with Jake the previous weekend from her cookbook. Something about her eyes, my eyes made me stop breathing for a moment. I've watched every episode of her cooking show. Her cookbook sits on our kitchen counter. Her voice has filled our apartment countless Sunday mornings as Jake and I cook together. But I'd never made the connection until that moment. Curious but still skeptical, I did some math. Elise would have been 19 when I was born. She grew up in the same small town in Oregon where my adoption was processed. And in interviews, she always deflects questions about her early life, focusing instead on her culinary journey that began in her 20s. Still, this could all be coincidence. I needed more. I requested my full adoption records last year out of mild curiosity, but never opened the envelope when it arrived. That night, hands trembling, I finally broke the seal. The birth mother's name was Elizabeth Montgomery. Not quite Elise, but close. The birth date matched. The signature at the bottom of the included letter was unmistakably similar to the one Elise scrawls on her cookbook introductions, a distinctive loop on the E that I've seen Jake trace admiringly when he thinks I am not looking. There was no longer any doubt. My fiancé's culinary idol, the woman whose recipes have become the soundtrack to our relationship, is my birth mother. Jake doesn't know I am adopted. It never seemed important to tell him. My adoptive parents are my family in every way that matters. But now every time he mentions Elise's name or suggests we try another of her recipes, my stomach clenches. Last night, he excitedly showed me that Elise is doing a cookbook signing in our city next week. We have to go, he insisted, already planning which cookbook we'd bring. I've always wanted to meet her. I locked myself in the bathroom and cried. What would I even say to her? Hi, I think you are my birth mother. Also, your braised short ribs recipe changed my fiancé's life. I haven't told anyone, not Jake, not my parents. Examen's focused on our upcoming wedding. My mother calls daily about flower arrangements and seating charts, while I am secretly wondering if I have my birth mother's hands, her laugh, her food alderus. Jake deserves to know before we get married, but I am terrified of how this revelation might change us. Our whole relationship is entangled with Elise's recipes, our first date at a restaurant where she once worked, his proposal over a dessert from her cookbook. If I tell him, will he see me differently? Will he suddenly notice Elise's features in my face? Will our Sunday cooking ritual become unbearably awkward? And what about Elise herself? Does she ever think about the baby she gave up? Would knowing I exist disrupt the life she's carefully built? She has 2 teenage children now, a husband, a restaurant empire. Does she deserve to have her past reserve face because of my curiosity? Tonight, Jake suggested we make Elise's signature pasta dish to practice for when we host our first dinner party as a married couple. As I chopped herbs using the technique I learned from her videos, I realized I have 1 week to decide. Did I tell my fiancé that the woman who taught us both to cook is the same woman who gave me life?